as a trader. So you can see that the trend line is being respected. Even though we didn't touch it, it's still being respected. So look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on this trend line. Welcome. I am your host, Jutsuko Toshiro, bringing the latest cryptocurrency updates and trading information. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I give you guys all the information and playlists that you need to basically become a fruitful trader. Right now, I have 40 subscribers. I am very, very happy with 40. If you guys like my content, please smash the like button on this video. Let's make that algorithm go up and make everyone in this community very profitable. Second of all, I am on Twitter. If you guys want real-time updates regarding my thoughts on the cryptocurrency market, you can see I also post my trades here on Twitter. So just follow me on Twitter and you can get all the information you need regarding my updates and information here. So today we're going to be talking about descending triangle. You guys know I like to do this every single time. If we're doing a learning video, I like to go over the definition. I think the definition and the semantics of the language and understanding what's happening with the price action is important. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it is. It's basically a series of lower highs and a second horizontal trend line that connects the series of lows. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. As you can see on the right hand side, we do have a picture of a descending triangle, and basically it's basically what it was told in the definition. You have lower highs here and a horizontal support line that's basically getting weaker as you touch it. So let's go ahead and look over this over real time. I want to say something about these trading videos. So you know, it's one thing to Google a bunch of chart patterns and, you know, understand what they look like. But the hardest part about these chart patterns isn't really identifying them. The hardest part about looking at them is basically how to trade them. There's a million different ways to trade these patterns. And honestly, you got to do what's profitable for yourself. I know that sounds cliche, but that's the best way to do it. So you gotta basically, I'm gonna coach you through 2 ways that I like to trade, and then you can explore with whatever else you want. But this is the 2 ways that I do it, and I found them to be the most profitable. Remember, I've been trading since 2018. It's been about 5 years now, and I've been through the highs and lows of Bitcoin and every single token you can think of. So let's go ahead and look at this example. And I'm going to walk you guys through basically how I would trade this descending triangle on Bitcoin back in 2019. So as you can see here, we're moving basically really fast to the upside, and it looks like Bitcoin's going to go for that $20,000 mark again. So let's go ahead and play it. And you remember, you guys, the main thing is you trade what the market gives you. You got to trade what the market gives you. So let's go ahead and look. As you can see here, now we can establish one thing, and that's a trend line. That's a descending trend line. And you can see it's smiling at you. And I posted this on my Twitter before. So when the market is smiling at you, that means that it's going to head lower. And this is a general good rule of thumb. So if you can see that you can't make a higher high off a recent move to the upside, you're going to expect some retracement. So let's go ahead and see what happens here on the price action. And you can see that we do kind of have some support here, but we break through it. So now we've established a real support. And the way I know that is because we have a wick down here after a massive red candle, and it looks like a solid support. So I'm going to just draw an arbitrary line here that's connecting to these old supports, and you can kind of see now where I'm going with this. So let's go ahead and play this. Let me extend this here. I know it's far-fetched and premature, but remember, this is all, you know, a thought process. This isn't a perfect descending triangle, as you can see. So boom, we have another touch on the support. So now you definitely have support here. You have 2 confirmations basically telling you the price action might move up, and it could retrace here and stop, or it could actually move up higher and retest this high. So let's get ahead and look at what happens here. So as of right now, I actually wouldn't be in a trade. If I was in a trade, but this isn't covered in this video, it would actually be a double bottom trade for the long. But that's in another video that I'll be discussing what a double bottom is. But so technically I would be trading this price action, but I wouldn't be trading this price structure. So let's go ahead and keep looking at what happens here. And you can see that we're testing that resistance and we popped. And then finally we got a rejection here. So this trend line is being respective as of that day. So let's see what happens next. Okay, so we're testing it and it looks like it's a no-go and we got rejected. So it's a beautiful little trend line that I drew and it just so happened to be respected here. You can see that we are making basically a higher low, so that's good news. If you're looking at it as a bullish perspective, you can see we're making a higher low, so we might come back up. Let's see what happens next. Let me hit that play button. So psychologically thinking, I actually wouldn't be trading any of this. I would be watching the price action. Too much chop, and when you trade the chop, you actually get stopped out a lot, or you make the wrong move. So you got to wait for a big move and capitalize on that as a trader. So you can see that the trend line is being respected. Even though we didn't touch it, it's still being respected. So look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on this trend line. Now you can see that the horizontal support is just being hammered right now. We got it touched once, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times. This is descending triangle. The probability of the price action breaking to the upside is a lot lower than it breaking to the downside. So keep that in mind. I do want to point out one thing. This is a very big structure in price action, especially if you're looking at on the daily time frame, but it tends to work out. And obviously this video is a retrospective video where I'm looking at the price action of Bitcoin in the past, so I already know what's going to happen, as you should too. I'm walking you guys through the psychology. So take note, today is January 19th of 2023. There is one token I cover every single day on my YouTube channel that has the same price structure, and that is the Binance token. The Binance token is making a huge descending triangle. All you got to do is just click on one of my videos and you can see that or even go on my Twitter, scroll through my media, you can see I've been drawing this all day. The thing is, you have to be patient and you have to understand there's psychology behind trading. So as you can see here, we're getting a lower highs. There's no way I'm going to go long here now, because what's happening is you're getting a price volume that's compressing, and that means that volatility is building up, and that's exactly my point. So would I have entered about here? Yes, I would have entered around here or somewhere in here, because now I know things are getting hot. If I feel like I'm too late, what I would do is actually I would enter on the daily close here, and then I'd wait for the trend to follow through, and I'd set my stops up here. So if I missed the short, so there's 2 ways I would short this. Number 1, I'd get in this chop now, because what I'm seeing is a descending small daily time frame volume, and this small volume means that there's a big move coming. So you have to understand, if we have a nice macro structure that's moving like this, and then out of nowhere it just gets really tiny, that means that there's a big move incoming. And then second of all, you have to understand that you have weaker and lower highs every single time. Eventually it's going to give, and the last time you touch this support might be the last time for a long time. So you have to understand that there's 2 ways you can trade this. You get in on this chop, but it can drive you crazy, or you could wait for the move to the downside and then catch a short here. When I warn you though, with the ladder, so basically entering here, I warn you, because what could happen is it can retrace and you can get stopped out. But technically you'd want to set your stop losses here. So there's 2 ways to trade this. I told you guys, look, number 1, we found out that we have a descending triangle, and I drew it clearly for you guys. You can see we have a horizontal support clearly drawn here, and I walked you guys through the psychology of how I would trade everything. I even mentioned that I would trade something in here. Lastly, we have now a very tight price action. Very tight price action means there's a big move incoming. And then obviously the move that's going to come is going to favor the price structure, the macro price structure altogether. The macro price structure is a descending triangle. We got that tight volatility, no volume type of price action, and boom, we broke to the downside. So let's go ahead and see how low this goes. There's two ways to trade this, like I mentioned before. Number one, I mentioned this in the past. You can take the base of the triangle to the height. You can attach it to the bottom. I personally don't like doing this. And that will tell you the price action. Okay, so that's one way to do this. The second way you can do this, which I personally like to do, is I'd like to do trailing stops. So now that we moved down, I'd like to put my stop basically at break even or some profit, but it would be around this horizontal line, and I'd basically wait to see what would happen next. So my stop loss would be here. It would be in the money. It would be positive. You got to do that. You got to make sure you're either taking profits or you're putting your stop losses in logical areas. Now, trailing stops are nice because what they do is they let you just be free. You can see that the trend isn't really following through. It's going to take a few days. This is literally a day chart. It looks like we're creeping back up to the stop loss area. So right now you're probably sweating. But if your stop loss is good, like basically up here, you have nothing to worry about. As you can see, now we get that follow through and a wick down low, and then boom, up to the upside. So these things are very hard to trade because you have basically that price action, that move, and then you're set up for a small move to the downside. What is that, 15%? People are expecting, so that's why I don't like doing that price. This is why I purposely showed you guys this video, because sometimes your structures don't work out the way you want them to. So the target was $5,900. Logically, we never got there. And as you can see here, we actually retraced to the upside and basically got stopped out. So that's why trailing stops are key, because you can take profits and you can just watch the price action happen again. And that's pretty much it for this video. So obviously I threw in a bias for myself because what I do is trailing stops. And I think that, you know, that's the best way to trade because you never lose. Although it can get frustrating, it's just a good way to do it because you don't lose. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. It wasn't your typical trading video or teaching video. It's more of a analysis on the psychology of how to enter a trade and close it. So we learned the descending triangle, but mainly what I'm trying to teach you guys is how to trade properly and the psychological game behind it. I hope you guys learned something well. If you guys like this video, please smash that like button, make that algorithm go up, teach this to your fellow traders, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jitsuko Toshiro, where I give you guys all the updates that you need. And then lastly, follow me on Twitter. I give you guys real-time updates regarding cryptocurrency. If you guys like these videos, please share it with your loved ones and share your profits with me if I helped you with any trade. Thank you so much, and you have a good one.